Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming in so early. My name is Hazel. I'm a breath worker, a part of Christopher's alumni, and I'm also a yoga teacher and chiropractor. What I'm going to take you through this session is going to be about 45 minutes in length, and we're going to be focusing on stress and tension and just giving a little introduction to the ways that breath can help with that. I'm not going to go too much into the science because I'm aware it's early. So I'm just going to give you just a general kind of feel about this area. And we're going to be focusing on a little bit of movement and using movement as a way to discharge. Thinking about sound and how also that can be a way to let excess energy out of our system. And then we are going to slightly upregulate, and then we're going to downregulate. And then we're going to finish with some awareness and mindfulness to see if we can take some of that stress and just focus in on ourselves. So that's a general arc and plan of what we're going to cover. So the reason I'm showing you different, so you might think, oh, stress, wouldn't we just want to downregulate? Wouldn't we just want to chill ourselves out? And part of the reason why we're not just going to do that is that actually stress isn't quite as simple as I think a lot of us imagine. And when we talk about stress, we often think about it, well, I do anyway, in the negative way, or someone's being stressy. And it's almost like you're too hyper-aroused and therefore you need to calm down. Whereas I found that maybe the reality of stress for a lot of people is actually slightly different to that. And sometimes stress can manifest in our system as excess energy that actually needs to be moved out and through us. And if you don't like the word energy, because that's a bit weird, is it tension? We don't have very good words to describe this, but excess stuff in our system that needs to be moved through. And I personally find for me that I can't just downregulate a lot of the time. What I have to do first is to move and to move my system, and then I can allow myself to relax. So sometimes we want to, in a really positive way, stimulate our sympathetic system and then allow our system and our nervous system to calm into our parasympathetic. That's as much as I'm going to go with that. And I'd be more than happy to talk a bit more through this with anyone if they're interested. So to start, we are going to find some movement. Just for ease, I'm going to stay sat down. But if you want to stand up during this little section, you are very, very welcome. And I'd just like you to start having a little shake. So I'm shaking out my hands, and you can hear there's a little almost flick of my fingers as I just allow my hands to be completely relaxed. And if you're stood up, you might want to shake out your feet as well and almost get a little bit of sort of movement into the body here. So loose shoulders, loose movement. And I flick across a little. And if you are happy to, maybe there's a little bit of loosening off into the head and into the neck. You can do a little horse breath, those familiar with this. So it's a breath out through my mouth, flicking into my lips. Start to slow your shaking down a little bit here. And take it into shoulder rolls. And these shoulder rolls are going to be really exaggerated. So we're coming forwards, up and around and down. And I want you to indulge here in your shoulder roll. Maybe you get the jaw involved. Get your arms involved. Feel like a bit of a wally. It might be getting a bit bigger here. I'm doing a bit of side to side movement with my neck as well, because that feels quite good for me this morning. So if you can be quite instinctive with your shoulder rolls now as they kind of manifest into a bit of free movement. And again, if you're stood up, you're very welcome to be doing this with your lower limbs as well. You might now, if you're stood up, be wondering about your room, making some funny shapes. But try and move in quite a purposeful way. Maybe almost imagine like you're moving through treacle here. And this slide and glide is really good to do in the morning. You can often do this as well in a tabletop position in your sort of cat-cow as we come into more of a sort of wild cat position if you want to try that. And take this opportunity as well to start to feel into your spine. Feel into those major joints as you slide and move and flex and extend. And just for a few more breaths here. And start to notice what you do with your breath while we're doing these funny, weird, slidey, glidey movements. And what we definitely don't want is any unconscious breath holding. So just see if you can keep a relaxed breath, ideally in and out through the nose, unless you're very purposefully discharging through the mouth. Great. Just a couple more breaths of this slide and glide. Particularly good to get some warmth and movement into our fascial system. Because I'm sat down, I'm just going to slink out each leg a little bit. And then those of you that might have stood up, I invite you to come back into the seat. I'm sat on a little cushion. This is to take my hips slightly higher than my feet. And I recommend that, particularly to make sure you can have a nice tall spine here now. And then find stillness. And if you feel happy to, soften your gaze or close your eyes. And just feel into your system. What has changed, if anything? I can feel in my system I'm a little bit warmer. I've got a slight tingle sensation in my fingers. Notice for you what might have just shifted. And sometimes just simple movement like that can be enough just to start to alter the state of how you are. On your next in-breath, allow the arms to float above your head. Breathe out, hold the arms there. Now on your in-breath, breathe in, tense your shoulders. And drop the arms down, breathe out through your mouth. We'll try that again. Breathe in. A breath out, hold them up. Now on this in-breath, tense your shoulders. Let it all drop. And I invite now a bit of sound with that drop. So I'm breathing out through my mouth and making any sound that just naturally comes. So breathing in through my nose. This out breath is through my nose. Now on this inhale, I'm taking all of the tension up. And then a big drop. One more time. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in tension. And drop. Lovely. Coming back to some shoulder rolls here. Lovely. Couple more shoulder rolls. Ease. Settle back into some stillness. And now on your next out breath, we're going to make some more sound. Invite you to make some of the primordial sounds. We'll start with ah. So we'll take a breath in, and on the out breath, the whole of the out breath, you go Ah. If you can do that all the way through until you run out of breath, we're going to do this 3 times with the sound of ah. If you've got someone close by and you can't make too much noise, that's absolutely fine. What I would do instead then is breathe in and do more of that ah. So you're still doing the same movement with your mouth, but you're not projecting the sound out quite as loud. So when you're ready, breath in for your first ah. When you finish that, just let your breath return to normal. A relaxed breath in and out through the nose. Now we're going to come to my favorite sound. So again, we're going to breathe in and do our for the whole of the out breath. Do it 3 times. Do your own out breath. You don't need to follow mine. And when you're done, just let your breath return to normal. Again, when you finish your sounds, notice the effect it might have had on your system. Introspect, take your attention inwards. Okay, I'm going to start to upregulate slightly now and doing a version of a yogic practice called Kapalabhati. This one has been slightly adapted where Christopher's slowed down this breath. If you have your own Kapalabhati practice that you'd like to do now, you're very welcome. Otherwise, if you'd like to try, if you haven't done this version before, This is stimulating. So I'm going to break it down first, and then we're going to do a little practice with some breath holds. I like to have my hands on my belly, so give me some feedback. So see how that feels for you, if that's useful or not. And we're going to start with a belly breath. So as you breathe in, we'll be expanding our belly. As you breathe out, we'll be relaxing the belly. And again, this breath is coming in and out through your nose. And as you continue this belly breath, as you breathe out, we're going to start to draw the belly in slightly. So I'm breathing in, expanding the belly. And as I breathe out, my belly starts to come in. And at the end of that exhale, there's a slight drawing up and in of my belly, just for a moment. And then breathing in and expanding again. So for those familiar with Bandha, we're not quite coming into the Bandha. We're drawing that belly button in towards the navel actively. So I'm using the muscles there. So it's not just a relaxed exhale. It's actually quite active as I start to draw the belly in on the exhale. And if this practice is quite new for you, this might be where you're staying today. Or it might be that you feel happy to bring a little bit more force into this. So as you start to breathe out, you're going to push that air quickly out through the nose and quickly draw in the belly. A little bit like this. Have a go. If you've got a blocked nose at all, you might need to blow the nose, clear it out. It's very difficult to do that through the nose. I'll show you the version through the mouth. It's with pursed lips. But ideally, we're going to try and do that through the nose. We haven't done nasal training today. But yeah, we're going to be trying to open up through the nostrils to get that feeling going. I'll pause you there with your practice because we are upregulating. So we're going to be doing a set of these, and then I'm going to invite you to do a breath hold. And today we'll keep it simple, and we're going to try and do a breath hold on the inhale. So you'll do a set of those pumps, and then you'll breathe in, hold your breath, so resist the urge to breathe out. You'll hold, and then you take a breath out. Now have a think what you might like to do. I'm going to be demonstrating 10 of those pumps and then the inhale breath hold. Then I'll do some relaxed breaths, and then I'm going to do another 2 sets of that. So some of you might decide you'd like to do more pumps. That's absolutely fine. And I'll leave a little bit of space at the end of this practice for those that are doing a few more pumps and slightly longer inhale breath holds. To clarify, the breath hold is not a maximal breath hold. It's a breath hold where you breathe in, hold your breath, and then when you've decided that's enough, you breathe out and it should be relaxed, a sweet exhale. There should be no urgency to the breath, no thirstiness with this practice. We're not taking the breath hold to that extent. Okay, so for those that would like to follow me, getting yourself ready. And of course, if 10 pumps feels a little bit too much, you just stop a bit before. So we're breathing in, expanding, and off we go. Breathing in, hold your breath. Welcome to go for slightly longer, otherwise taking your breath out. And just relax here. Allow your breath to return to normal. Notice what effect that practice has had on your system. And those following me, we're going to come into the second set of 10. Breathe in, expand. Breathe in and hold. Taking a slow exhale. Got one more round. Breath into expand style. Breathe in, hold. When you're ready, breathing out. Those that are finished, just come into some very gentle belly breaths. In and out through your nose. See if you can start to equal out the length of your inhale and exhale. Those joining in, we're taking a relaxed inhale and exhale, allowing the belly to move. Starting to find a coherent breath, so this is where we're equaling out the length of our inspiration and expiration. And there's no pause now between the breath. We're smooth and flowing wave-like breath between the inhale and the exhale. Those that work well with timing, you're very welcome to count your time that you take to inhale and exhale here. And you'd probably be working between 4 and 6 counts, but not much longer than 6 counts here. So if you're curious, feel free to time this breath. I'm not going to time this one for you. I'd like you to find your coherent breath. So this should feel easy. It shouldn't feel hard to continue to flow this breath from the inhale to the exhale when you find your rhythm. And as you might have noticed, we're starting to come into our down-regulation part of this practice now. And we're gently calming down our system. After having moved through our system, hopefully some of that excess tension or energy, we're hopefully going to start to now allow our nervous system to calm. Taking your hands onto your arms and give yourself a little rub. I'm rubbing my hands up and down the arms. And really rub, like get a good bit of contact and maybe a little squeeze of the arms as you go. Rubbing across your chest. Rubbing down to your belly, maybe a little clockwise circle of the belly if that feels nice. Start to rub down into the thighs. They're just the same as stroking a cat or getting a hug. Self-soothing in this way is one of the ways that we can start to allow ourselves to ease off, to take away our alert system, to tell our body that we're safe. So even though we might instinctively know we're safe, sometimes we have to let our body know that it's safe. You might want to rub now into your low back if you can comfortably reach it. And just to finish, giving yourself a few strokes on your head. Okay, I'm going to come into a version of Nadi Shodhan, another practice that's been taken from the yoga tradition. And it's where we're going to alternatively breathe in and out through our nose. And again, you might be very familiar with this practice and you might just want to ignore me for a few minutes and come into your own version, which is absolutely fine as well. Otherwise, I'm going to talk you through this one. And I'm going to give you a slightly different version to what you may have done before. And again, this is an offering for you to try my slight variation or to do the version that you know. So my slight variation is, rather than focusing on closing a nostril, we're going to focus on opening a nostril. So you do have to get a bit up and personal here with your nose. So you're going to be pinching right onto the side of your nostril and stretching the nostril open to breathe in. Your other nostril may be slightly still open, but the focus of the breath will come in the one that you're stretching open. When we're then breathing in, and then again, as you breathe out, you'd be stretching and opening one side. So we're not focusing on occlusing and closing the nostril. And for some people that have to really work with opening the nostril, I find this practice can be quite helpful. And again, if you feel like you need to blow your nose now before we start, it's a very good time. You'll soon find out if you need to blow your nose anyway, just as we start. Actually, before we do, I'm going to kick my feet out. Give myself a little movement here in the lower body and reset myself. Again, I'm sat on a cushion, so my hips are slightly higher than the ground, so I can keep my spine upright. Otherwise, you're very welcome to sit in a chair if sitting on the ground isn't very comfortable for you. There's absolutely no point in doing these breath practices if you feel like you're in discomfort and or if you feel like you can't sit up tall. So yeah, just taking a moment to reset here. We'll start with the traditional way of breathing in through the left nostril to start. When I'm breathing in, I'm going to be doing this with my hand. And when I'm breathing out, I'll be doing this with my hand. So if that's helpful, feel free to watch that. So we're going to start with an inhale through the left nostril. And I'm just going to use my left hand to open each side. The more traditional way is to move up and down like this. So you're very welcome to do that as well. But if you're new to this practice, then maybe just try what I'm describing. So a little pincer grip for my thumb and forefinger. I'm stretching open the left nostril to begin, and I'm taking an inhale. Swap your hand over to your right nostril and breathe out. Same nostril, stretch it open and breathe in. Swap over to the left and breathe out. That's one round. We're going to go again. Breathing in through the same nostril. Swap your hand over, open the right, breathe out. Breathe back in. Swap your hand over, breathe out. And we'll pause at the end here. Take a moment. Hopefully that was okay to follow. I'm now going to add, if that felt like quite enough, again, you're very welcome to stick with that. But now you'll have the option to breathe in and to pause. And this is what I'm going to do when I'm pausing. A slight come back. It's a slight breath hold. It's not going to be very long this morning. Breathing out. And then there's the option to pause the exhale as well. And we'll do a few rounds. Again, if you lose it, just come back in. And if you just think, actually, it's a bit too bitty for me in the morning, not a problem. I invite you to come to some relaxed belly breathing. So those that would like to follow me, we're breathing in again through that left nostril to start. Taking a breath in. And pause. Take this time to swap your hand over. Stretch open that right nostril. Breathe out. Pause at the bottom. Breathe in. Pause. Swap your hand over. Open the left nostril. Breathe out. Pause at the bottom. Breathe back in the same nostril. Pause at the top. Swap the hands over. Open and stretch the right nostril. Breathe out. Pause at the bottom. Breathe back in. Pause at the top. Take your hand over to the other nostril. Breathe out. We've got one more round. Pausing at the bottom here. Breathing in through the left nostril. Pause. Swapping over. Breathing out. Pause. Breathe in. Pause. Last time. Very slow, long exhale out. Hold. When you're ready, take a relaxed breath in. If it feels good to do so, pop in a hand on your belly and chest. Take your awareness back inwards. See if you can just take this breath in and out through the nose. I'm still consciously breathing here. I'm doing probably a slower breath than would be my normal tidal breath. Slight bit more emphasis on my exhale. And start to be curious here. Curious about the gentle movement in your belly and in your chest as you breathe. Just become aware of the sensation of your hands on your body. that gentle movement underneath your hands. Now, this is actually a slightly trickier practice than you might think, but invitation here to no longer change the breath, to give back over the breath to the brainstem here. Just see now if you can be an observer of your breath. Try to resist the urge to change it. Almost as if you were peering over the corner and subtly watching your breath from the side. If it helps to keep your hands where they are, feel free. If you prefer, just allow the hands to fall into your lap. This is our awareness of breath practice. Resisting the urge to change, to control. Just allowing the breath to be. See if you can cover the breath with your awareness and attention. Right from the start of your inhale, all the way through the exhale. A quiet observer of the breath. Resist the urge here to start a story about this practice or to start to analyze. See if we can notice if we start to do that, which you will. You might start a story about what you'll do after this or what you did yesterday, how you feel at the moment, how you feel about me. I invite you to gently let that pass away. A gentle return into this practice, a noticing and a returning to the breath. If you feel like you're getting distracted, gentle return to this practice. We'll be doing it for a couple more minutes. So just for a couple of minutes, can we find this discipline to just follow the breath with our awareness and our attention? You might be noticing the feel of the air as it comes in through your nose. Can you appreciate a subtle temperature difference between the inhale and the exhale? Are there any other areas of your body that subtly move as you breathe? If you find you've got distracted, gentle returning. That gentle returning is part of this practice. Allowing that practice to fade into the background and give yourself a big old stretch. Fake a yawn, and maybe that yawn reflex might take over. Sometimes when you turn your head to the left, that helps it come on. Indulge in the yawn. Find your way to mark the end of your practice this morning. Send in some thanks to each other for sharing in the practice. And you're very welcome to slink off, or you're very welcome to come and say hello. And obviously, if you have any questions, please just let me know. Thank you ever so much, everyone.
Thanks, Hazel. It was lovely.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really nice. Thank you.
Oh,
that was a great start to the day. Thanks, Hazel.
Yay.
Yeah, I feel really ready for the day now. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, guys. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.
Hazel?
See you. Yeah.
Hazel, I've got a question. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, shall I stop the recording, Isabel?
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, you can end the recording.
Let's